What's up, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're diving deep into the world of where winds meet to rank the absolute best weapon martial arts in the game. If you've been wondering which weapons to chase, which ones to invest your resources into, and which ones to maybe leave on the bench, you've come to the right place. I'm giving you a compact, no fluff tier list that breaks it all down. We'll go through each tier, I'll tell you why each weapon sits where it does, and give you some quick tips on how to use them effectively. Let's get straight into it. Before we jump into the tiers, let me give you a quick note on how I rank these. This isn't just about pure damage. I looked at the whole package. Raw damage output, yes, but also utility, things like heals, shields, and buffs. Mobility is huge in this game, so that's a big factor. We've also got AoE potential for clearing out crowds, overall survivability, and finally, how well they synergize with other weapons and in team play. It's about finding the most versatile and powerful tools for any situation. Alright, enough talk. Let's kick things off with the B tier. We're starting from the bottom up with B tier. Now, don't get me wrong, these weapons aren't bad at all. They're reliable, they can be a lot of fun, but they either have some very specific niches or some clear weaknesses that hold them back from the top spots. First up in B tier is the Mortal Rope Dart. This weapon is all about fast attacks and it has some pretty decent reach, which lets you stay at a safe distance. The coolest part is its unique skill that summons a Might Rat. This little guy will scurry around and chip away at your enemy's health while you are landing your own hits. It's a great way to keep constant pressure on a target, especially when you use the rope dart as a secondary weapon to swap to. The big downside, however, is that the rat only lasts for about 10 seconds. This means you're constantly having to swap back to the rope dart, resummon him, and then swap back to your main weapon. It feels a bit clunky and interrupts your flow if you're trying to use it as your primary damage dealer. So it's fun for that extra bit of pressure, but a bit too high maintenance for main weapon play. Next, we have the Vernal Umbrella. This weapon boasts the longest range in the entire game, making it a fantastic tool for anyone who loves to fight from a distance. You can play it as your main ranged weapon, or you can use its unique charge ability to deploy it as a stationary turret that attacks on its own. It's great for zoning and controlling space. Its charged light attacks are also really cool. They let you float in the air and rain down damage from above. The catch? You're not invincible while you're floating. You're a sitting duck for ranged enemies, and landing eats up a significant chunk of your stamina. If you get the timing wrong, you'll find yourself out of stamina and vulnerable. It's an excellent zoning tool, but it's risky and requires perfect timing to use safely and effectively. Our third B tier weapon is the Inkwell Fan. The fan is all about mobility and style. It has some fantastic movement skills and is designed to launch enemies into the air for some really juicy and satisfying air combos. When you land a launch and follow up with a full combo, it feels absolutely amazing. But here's the problem: consistency. The launch animations have specific timing, and if the enemy moves even slightly or if you're a fraction of a second off, the launch will fail. This makes it really strong in controlled situations, like when an enemy is staggered, but it can be very shaky and unreliable against highly mobile FOs or in chaotic fights. It's a high-skill, high-reward weapon that just doesn't always deliver. And finally, rounding out our B tier is the Stormbreaker Spear. This spear is a bit of an odd one out because its main focus isn't damage. In fact, its damage output is pretty low compared to most other weapons. Instead, it's all about defense. The Stormbreaker Spear gives you a passive damage reduction buff and skills that can inflict the vulnerable debuff on enemies, making them take more damage from all sources. This makes it a solid choice for a support-oriented secondary weapon. You swap to it, apply the debuff, maybe absorb a big hit, and then swap back to your main DPS. It really starts to shine when you build into a tanky playstyle, especially when you pair it with something like the Thundercree Blade. But on its own, it just feels a bit behind the other choices. Alright, now we're moving up to the A tier. These are strong, powerful picks that are excellent in most situations. They might have a minor weakness or be slightly less versatile than the S tier weapons, but you can absolutely clear all of the game's content with these. Kicking off a tier is the Heavenquaker Spear. This weapon is an absolute monster and fights against multiple enemies. One of its core skills has a unique mechanic where its damage scales based on how many hits you land in a short window. Against a huge crowd of mobs, you can rack up an insane number of hits and just melt entire waves. This makes it a top-tier choice for clearing the overworld and running through dungeon trash. The problem? This strength becomes a weakness in single target fights, like against bosses. It's much harder to hit that maximum damage multiplier against a single mobile boss. It also relies heavily on its bleed-based internal arts to really reach its full potential, and prosing that reliably isn't always easy. So, use it to dominate mob fights, but consider swapping for boss encounters. Next up, we have the Infernal Twin Blades. If you love a fast, aggressive, in-your-face playstyle, this is the weapon for you. The Twin Blades have relentless attack speed and incredible pressure. They also come with great mobility skills that let you chase down enemies and stick to them like glue. The trade-off for all that aggression is a lack of defense and weak AoE damage. Its special Flame Lash mode is incredibly powerful, boosting your damage significantly, but it's not easy to maintain its uptime when you're playing solo. You need to be constantly attacking to keep it going. This is a weapon for a highly mechanical player who is confident in their ability to dodge and weave within their combos. If you can master its movement, the Twin Blades will reward you handsomely. Our third tier weapon is the Thundercree Blade. This greatsword is the definition of slow but brutal. Its charged hits pack a massive punch and can absolutely flatten enemies. It's also incredibly tanky. Some of its skills can spawn shields that scale with your maximum HP, making it a dream for players who want to build a tanky bruiser. The big caveat, however, is the charge mechanic. Blocking or dodging will immediately cancel your charge. This means you can't play defensively while you're winding up for a big hit. You have to commit to the attack and have good timing and positioning. You need to know when you have a safe window to charge up and unleash that devastating blow. It requires patience and a good read on the enemy, but the payoff is immense. And the last weapon in our tier is the Nameless Spear. This weapon is all about incredible burst damage. It achieves this through a combination of fast-charging heavy attacks and skills that reduce the enemy's endurance, making them easier to stagger. It feels incredibly satisfying to land a quick combo and watch a huge chunk of an enemy's health bar just disappear. The main weakness is its range. It's very short, so you have to be constantly in harm's way, right up in the enemy's face. This makes it a brilliant choice for bursting down single targets, but it's not ideal when you're facing multiple ranged mobs that can kite you. If you're looking for pure, single-target burst, the Nameless Spear is one of the best. And now, we've arrived at the top. The S tier. These are the best of the best, the most powerful and versatile weapons in the game. These are the all-rounders that excel in nearly every type of content, from solo play to group content, from mobs to bosses. If you want to know what to aim for, this is it. First in S tier is the Soulshade Umbrella. This weapon is the top-tier support secondary, period. It doesn't do a lot of damage on its own, but its utility is unmatched. It provides a powerful healing overtime effect and a significant damage buff to you and your allies. The best part is how seamlessly it swaps with any other weapon. The typical combo is to pull it out, quickly activate its buff and heal skills, and then immediately swap back to your main damage weapon to take advantage of the buff window. If your build relies on sustain and maximizing your damage during specific windows, the Soulshade Umbrella is an absolute must-have. It fits into almost any build and makes everything better. Our next S-tier weapon is the Panacea Fan. This weapon takes the healing concept from the Soulshade Umbrella and pushes it even further. It has even stronger healing capabilities, making it the best pure sustain weapon in the game. Its damage is lower than Soulshade's, but its ability to keep you and your team alive is second to none. A huge advantage is that you can get it relatively early in the game, which makes it fantastic for improving your survival during the early and mid-game grind. In multiplayer, its utility is clutch. It can bring allies back from the brink of death and turn the tide of a difficult fight. If you want to play a dedicated healer or a clutch support role, the Panacea Fan is your go-to. Moving on to a more offensive S-tier pick, we have the Strategic Sword. This weapon is a master of pressure and burst. Its core mechanic involves applying stacks of a damage over time debuff on the enemy. After you've applied enough stacks, you can detonate them for a massive explosion of burst damage. It also has incredibly high mobility, with skills that let you reposition, dodge, and continue applying pressure all at the same time. It strikes a beautiful balance between offense and defense, allowing you to stay safe while setting up your devastating burst. It's excellent for both solo play and group content, making it one of the most well-rounded and effective weapons available. And finally, our number one S-tier weapon, the king of them all, the Nameless Sword. This weapon is the definition of a master of all trades. It's a highly mobile, incredibly versatile DPS weapon with both solid single target damage and effective AoE options. Its combos are fluid, and it has unique skills that allow you to weave in and out of enemy attack range mid-combo, making you feel like a ghost. You can stick to a target, deal consistent damage, and then effortlessly disengage to avoid a big attack. If you want one weapon that you can invest in that will be reliable and powerful across virtually all content in the game, the Nameless Sword is it. It doesn't have any glaring weaknesses, and simply performs at the highest level in any situation you put it in. Alright, and that is the complete weapon tier breakdown for where wins meet. I hope this helps you figure out which martial arts you want to focus on for your journey. Remember, B tier weapons are still viable, but the S tier picks are where the true power lies. If this video helped you out, do me a huge favor and smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Where Wins Meet content. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next build guide when it drops. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.